Right, welcome back. So, we've just done our dash to GLTs in High Wycombe, and they've given us all our stuff that we need. So, we've got 3 two-way switches. They're all labelled up. We've got wall, dining room, and the link through to the lounge. And this is our switch line for the dining room. So, we're going to put our dining room, which we're in now. We're going to start stripping down the 3-core. So, we're going to get that stripped. So we've got our first cable down. So this is our two-way switch. So this is wired in a 3-plate. So there is no feeds into these switches. Just really to keep this one down. The feeds don't run anywhere near the switch. So there's our earths stripped down. So we're not going to worry about them yet because we've got these going in. So we've got our twin and earth coming down. So we're going to trim that off. And this is our first two-way switch. And we're using Hager grid switches. Thanks to Dan at GLT in High Wycombe. So we've got these Hager switches. So that's our switch. And it's going to go in a grid. And we've got, there's a common, there's an L1, there's an L2. And obviously there's a neutral if they're switch fed. So we're not doing switch fed. And hanging around my neck is all the sleeving we need. So this is our first one. So we're going to trim those cables off like that. And I always twist the cables up like that. And they can go in the bin. So we're going to strip these down. And then we're ready to connect up. So we've got our 3-core. So our brown is going to go into our common. That's our first one. And then we've got, I do like these switches. So we've got our grey and our black ready to go in, and our blues ready to go in. So they're going to go in that configuration. Oh, can't get them in. So they're going to go in that configuration, but not quite yet, I hear you say. We need some brown sleeving, and it's around my neck. So we're going to trim that off. So we're going to get 3 bits trimmed off on the brown sleeving. So we're going to slide that over the grey. We're going to slide it over the black. And we're going to slide it over the blue. So, 3-core. So we're going to put our grey with our brown sleeving on it, with our brown from our feed coming down from our light. So this is wired in standard 3-plate. So we've got that going on there like that. And then we've got our blue and our black from our 3-core. So this, the blue, is the switch line coming down from the light. So that's going to be coming in from there. Yes, and I haven't done the earths yet, but the earths are all going to go into this terminal at the bottom here. So now we've got the 2-way switch for our wall lights, and we've got the 2-way switch for our lounge. So that switch is going to sit there in our grid. So we'll just strip these 2 down. So we've got a 2-way switch. We've got a lot of these switches. We're going to be on here for a little while doing these switches. So we've got a few of these 2-ways, and we've got the switches at the bottom of the stairs have got intermediates on. So I think they're part of, there's 3 switches on those. So we've got a switch upstairs. We've got, we've got 2 switches upstairs. We've got one each end of the corridor. And then we've also got switches downstairs and switches the other end of the corridor. So those are our 2 switches. So again, I'm just going to trim those down. Like so, and like so. Get those cables, twist it together, because we're sweeping up on this job ourselves. So we get them stripped. So that's that. So we get them, same as the other ones. We've got our brown sleeving trimmed. Oh, so 4 bits for that. So this is our first bit. This is our two-way switch. So we're going to put, this is our lounge, the first lounge light. So we're going to put brown sleeving on the black and the grey, and we're going to do the same to our wall lights. We'll just slide that over, slide them up there long enough. So we're going to get our grid switches. Those just join us. They are Hager, and they were supplied by probably the previous video you're watching. It's GLT down in High Wycombe. The other wholesaler we had dropped the stuff off. I've got it all wrong. They supplied no grids, the wrong plates. So the boys down at GLT sorted us out. So that's one two-way switch. We've got another two-way switch. The two-way switches are Hager. Quite a nice make, and you can get to all the terminals from one position. So it's all from the top, so even if you're testing the switches out, you can get to them perfectly. So those are our switches. So what we're going to do now, we're going to get the earth sleeving, and we're going to go down. These are the grids we're using. I'll just take one out of the bag for you. So those are the grids we're using. We've got an earth terminal on the back. It's quite big, so it takes 4 or 5 cables. So first of all, I'm going to cut the earth sleeving so it's down. And what I do, rather than cut that, so I'm going to slide the earth sleeving onto the cable, and then we're going to fold it over. Push it down like that, so it's folded over, so it stays linked. So we're going to slide that in to the back of our box. Push it in, perfect. A little tug, and then we've got the rest of the earths here. So we're going to run them down to here. So we cut those. So we've got 3 of those. They're going to be cut to length. We'll just trim the earth sleeving down again. Trim some of the earth wire down as well. We get rid of the excess. It's latched and on, joining onto the tripod. So we get our earth sleeving, slide that on. So what we go in a minute, we're going to do the one in the lounge, and the lounge one has got switch lines coming down to it. They are not, I don't think they are. Yeah, that's going to be switch fed. So that's totally different to this. This is a 3-plate. So we've got our earths there. We'll trim those off to all the same length. We've got our last earth there, which is the one linked to the back of the box that we folded over a second ago. So we get that onto there. There we are, that's plenty long enough. The terminal will go at the bottom. Don't worry, I'm recording this as well, so if you need to revisit it, I'll put a video out in a bit. So we're going to put our first earth in, our second earth in, our third earth in. Oh, get them in. Yeah, you bastard. Trim that down a bit, that one. So get those in. Damn me. Trying to do this quickly. that. They're all in. And we are putting these switches on. Yes, the wall is unfinished, it's not plastered, but the plasters were supposed to have been in on Friday and they didn't bother to turn up. So that's our grid. We're just going to push that back. And then what we'll do is put the earths in and guide them round so they're not in the way of the terminal for the switch. Put that in there, put that in there. So there's our grid going in. Obviously there's no plaster for it to sit on, so we're just going to try and sit this bit on here. Make sure the cables don't go in and get caught. Our first switch. There's our second switch. Feed the cables in so they're not touching any of the metalwork. Oh, that one's not in the right place, is it? So there we are, there's our switches. And we're going to take our 3-gang plate. Beautiful, and these plates come with some little screws in that hold the front on, so that plate sits on there like that. So we're going to take that out there. Hate putting these switches on without the plastering done, but we've got other jobs to go on to. And the client has agreed that the builders have had enough time. So those screw on there, and as that screws on, that pulls the black plate, the back plate forward. So it pulls the switches out. So there we are, that's our two-way switch fitted. And obviously when the plastering is done and finished and started, it'll look a lot better. So that's how to do that. We're going to go to the next one now, which is round the corner. Come with me. We'll take that stuff. So here we are, we're at the other side. Move that sofa out the way a bit. Can we all see? Right, so this one, we've got the other end of our cable, so we've got our lounge two-way. We've got our dining two-way, which is obviously, remember, got the cable the other end. We've got our wall, and then we've got 3-core here, which is our switch line, which is going to be the switch line for the wall lights and the switch line for the lounge lights. So we get the two-way switch in for the dining room. Can't believe I forgot that one. So we've got a two-way switch in for the dining room. So we strip that back. Exactly the same as the last one. So that's our dining room. So what we do is we terminate that switch first. So we're going to go into the back of our switch. So we've got our common L1, L2. So pull the cable down, so we've got plenty to play with. So strip that off. Strip those. Get our brown sleeving. Cut a couple of bits off that. We're not going to do anything with the green and yellow sleeving at the minute. Just slide the grey over. Slide the black over. And these cables are connected the other end for the two-way switch. So we're literally just connecting these three cores. Sounds a bit Christmassy. These 3 cores. So we're going to get them in. So that's in. Those are our cables in. So that's our two-way switching. And then we've obviously got the lounge switch line. Perfect. And then we've got the wall, and we've got the wall and the lounge one. You probably can't see that in this light, but we are in the dark. So we get that one stripped. So that'll be our wall, into our switch line. So on this one, we will have, so our switch line going up. So obviously we're bringing the feed in from the other side of this switch. So we'll have two switch lines. Actually, we'll do two switch lines, which will be those two. And this grey will be our neutral, which we'll put a bit of blue sleeving on now, which is perfect. How many times did I say that the other day? Perfect. So we now know that is there. So one of these switch lines goes to each one of these three cores. And the two-way switches we're using are Hager ones. Decent make, they make fuse boards as well. So those are the back of the switches. So we've got common, L1, L2, and you've got a neutral up there, which we are going to use on this one. So we get these. So these, don't forget, are our switch lines. And then we've got these two here are our two-way switches that link through to the other switches. So we will get 4 bits of earth sleeving cut. Not earth sleeving, brown sleeving. Idiots. So we get those on there. One, two, three, four. So that's those. That'll be our 3 two-way switches. So we've got that, like that, perfect, like that. Trim those down, we'll strip them. So when I go and get the cable out of the van, we get the feed through. So we got the common, he's going to go in for the brown. We put our neutral. Oh, didn't strip it. Put our neutral into the top of that switch. So that is going into the neutral terminal. I'll show you the switch so you don't think it's wrong. So there we are. So I've gone into the common and the neutral. And we've got our other two cores of our 3 core. So we've got a grey and a black, both got brown sleeving on. So we're going to use switch line. So this will be the brown cable is going to be our centre light. So we've got these set out, so our centre light will be the first one in, first one closest to the door, sorry. And then we've got the second one will be our wall light, and the far one will be the dining room, which is through the archway. So we've got to get a cable across there, so we'll link this feed out. So we'll put that into our grey. So just link that one out, and that's going to link across to the other switch. It goes in there like that. So strip that off. So we get our third switch. So we've got our common. Our switch, now this is the wall lights. we've got our, so we're going to link our feed across. We'll do these identical to the last one. So we're going to put our feed into L2, and we're going to put our switch line into L1. What have I forgot? What have I forgot? The brown sleeving on the black. So put the brown sleeving on the black. So put that in. That links out. That links in with our L1 terminal. So we've got our feeds into L2 and our switch lines into L1. So those are our switches connected up. So now we're going to put our CPCs or our earths away. So I always take one core to the back box. Strip the earth sleeving down, slide the earth sleeving on. So I've got that, and then what I do is, so it's unbroken, fold it over, and we're going to undo the terminal. And that goes in, like so. That's in tough enough, hard enough, whatever. So we've got our grid switch, our grid plate. So that's our grid. It's a 3 and 4 gang grid. So it's not like our other mates where you've got a 3 or a 4 gang grid. There's our earth terminal. The earth terminal is plenty big enough for to take quite a number of CPCs. So we're now going to get those cables across there. They're going to come down to there, so leave them plenty long enough. You've got plenty of room in these switches, or the back boxes, sorry. So we get the three earths in, slide them over. 1, 2, 3. So those are our CPCs. I put everything round my neck and end up everything falls on the floor. So make this one, like this long, so we can lose the slack in the back of the box. So we've now got our 4 cores there ready. So they're all going to get trimmed. They're all going to get trimmed. Just push the earth sleeving right back as I do it. So I hold that and then hold them like that, and we get our grid, which is there. And as I've not prepared, not done the terminal, so we're going to get that. So as we see, those are all pushed back, so it goes over to the sleeving. A little twist, they hold together, and then slide them in. Keep the pressure on the cables. They're all in really strong. So these cables here I'm going to fold in and fold down and round. Then we're going to slide our 2-way switches through. So those are going to go on like so. And yes, if you're wondering, I'm not filling because we've rewired the house, and the house, if you've seen any of the previous posts I've done, all the plaster is falling off the walls. So I've done a lot of this sympathetically because the builders that are coming keep saying they're coming, they never turn up. That is why we're putting these switches on now, because we've got another job to go to and the customer's getting fed up. So how many times do you think I have to come back because they've yanked cables out of the switches? So there we are, there's our switches. So we're going to get our ball game. So that's our faceplate. It'll come quite nicely. They're all they are all labelled up. If you can see, Hager's just embossed there. So we get that screw in. Go around there, get that one on. And like I say, all this wallpaper was supposed to have come off a little while ago and then been all stripped back. So that's that one done.